Hi everybody. Today's video is going to be 5 tips to help you manage your chronic kidney disease or polycystic kidney disease, which is a chronic kidney disease. So these are tips that have helped me. This channel is called PKD or CKD and me. I always like to just remind everyone, don't do what I'm doing just because it was safe for me to do. You do what your doctor says is safe for you to do. And what I'm suggesting you do is maybe jot down notes from my channel or other people's channel or studies you read on the internet. Take notes, take them to your doctor and ask your doctor if you can do those things. So I'm not suggesting you do anything that worked for me. Well, actually, some of these tips, I think you can do without asking your doctor. Definitely. Some of the management tips, definitely. But yeah, so before I get into those 5 things, I just need to express my eagerness and my moment of angst. If you watched my previous videos, you probably know that I have a doctor's appointment coming up where the doctor said she's going to tell me what my projected potential lifespan is, right? So today, and I'm living outside my home country, so I use a VPN all the time, and I still think the VPN benefits outweigh this small negative of having a VPN. But my doctor emailed me a link that I could click on to tell me the results of that genetic testing, whether I have the fast-growing PKD or the slow-growing PKD, and I'm so eager to know that. When I got the email, I was like, oh! So I hurried up and clicked on the thing, and it popped up and said that it was blocked. And I'm almost certain it's blocked because I'm using a VPN. So if anybody knows how to unblock or turn off the VPN and then turn back on the VPN after I check that link, please put that in the comments below. And also tell me if you know, is that going to mess up anything, like any of my apps that I use? Like if I'm using apps through that VPN and then I turn the VPN off, when I turn the VPN back on, are those apps still going to connect for me? Am I still going to be able to use them and log in and all that? I am technically retarded. I'm just not good at all with that kind of thing. So I'm dying to know my results. My appointment's like another week away. So yeah, I'll wait the week out because I kind of have to, but I would just love to click on that thing and see what it says. So if anybody can help with that, I appreciate it. Comment down below, please. Okay, I did write some notes. You're going to see me looking at my notes, but here are the 5 things that have helped me so far manage PKD, CKD, because I was in a tailspin. You get all this crazy information and recommendations, and then you leave the doctor's office and you don't get to see the doctor for another 6, 8 weeks, whatever, and you're just floundering. So the last couple of months, I've kind of come up with a couple of things that have really helped me get a grip and start managing my PKD. Number 1, time management. You have got to reprioritize your whole entire life now. You might have to cut out house cleaning or watching TV or reading your favorite book. Like, you're gonna have to cut something out of your life, at least for a little while, until you get in the groove and learn how to manage this mess. So cut something out because you need extra time. You need extra time to learn what you're allowed to eat. You need extra time to go grocery shopping because you can't just walk in the store and purchase that low sodium soy sauce. Okay, honey, because low sodium soy sauce is not low sodium for a CKD patient. It is not. You have to look at every single nutritional label. Whatever you're purchasing in the store, it's going to take you tons more time to grocery shop. I go in the store, and before I pick up a red potato, I go to Google. Actually, I like this website, eatthismuch.com. And obviously I have no affiliation with them or anything, but eatthismuch.com. And I'll just Ask how much potassium is in a potato, how much phosphorus is in a potato, how much sodium is in a potato, how much protein is in a potato, how much sugar is in a potato. Like, I'm just really, and it's just, okay, potatoes aren't the best idea for me. So then next item, like, you really need to carve out time for this. Eating takes time. It's different now. Figure out what you're allowed to eat, go grocery shopping, read labels, come home. Cooking takes longer because you're starting everything, from scratch, or you're trying recipes you haven't tried before. So time management for eating, time to do your own research. You need extra time to do this. Watch YouTube things, Google, find research studies, vet the sources of the research studies. Like, you just have to do your own research. You can't just go read one thing and then think that it's safe or helpful to you. You also need time to attend doctor's appointments and make that a priority. So whenever you schedule your doctor's appointment, just make time to go there. My doctor is far, far away from where I live, and I just have to make that trip. It's like a whole trip. It's a thing, I travel to the doctor and then I travel back. And if I miss those appointments, or if I don't make it a priority, then it's another 6 weeks before I have an opportunity to travel out there again. So make time for your doctor's appointments. And the other thing, if you don't already do an exercise routine, put that in your schedule. Whatever exercise you're allowed to do. And my doctor told me walking or bicycling, that's it. So make time for that. I used to exercise anyways. I like to work out, lift weights, run. So I don't necessarily have to carve that in, but if you're not already doing it, carve in time to exercise. Like, this is a lifestyle thing. And I will say it gets easier. I'm only a couple months into this myself, and it's getting easier. I'm finding that, okay, I do have time now to clean a little bit more, or just to do things that I had to cut out in order to figure out how to manage this. So, because you start memorizing things, when you look up an egg 6 times, or you look up a potato 20 times, you begin to memorize, that's not good for me and this is why, or that is good for me and this is why. So it will get tons easier. You will find extra time in your day quicker than you think to get back to doing whatever things you had to cut out. Number 2, and this one was a huge one for me. Okay, number 2, how to manage your PKD or CKD. Just brace yourself. Okay, you are going to fail at this, or you're going to do what you think is failing at this, or at least I did regularly, and I still do. But just knowing that, just telling myself that I'm not going to do it 100% right all the time, makes me feel better. Look at this like a transition period. You're transitioning from one lifestyle to another. And anytime you go through transition, it's just not easy. If something goes wrong, just acknowledge that you could have done that better and move on and keep trying. So that's a huge one, because I just don't quit trying to manage it is the thing. Just don't stop. No, it's a process. It's not overnight like I want it to be. Like, I was beating myself up sometimes because it wasn't overnight for me. So I'm still not to a place where I want to be with the process. So just take your time. It's a process. Okay, number 3, logbooks. Keep logbooks. This sounds so nerdy, but for me, I'm a nerd, I guess. So it helps. I have my logbooks. I went ahead and pulled them out. I never ever thought that I would share them with anyone, so it's okay if you want to comment and tell me how raggedy and nasty and scratchy they are. So here's one. I'm just going to try to show this to you. This is my food logbook. Okay, this is how I scratched out the date, by the way. This was earlier in my process. But this is more or less how I figure out how much I've eaten of what. So I list there on the left-hand side the item I've eaten, and then I start my process. Eatthismuch.com or Google how much sodium is in this brand, this many ounces of coffee. How much sugar is in that, how much phosphorus, how much protein, how much potassium. Every single ingredient I put in all my food, I do this for, and I write it down because I can't remember. Like, I don't remember how much phosphorus I've had today when it comes down to dinner time. And another thing I've started doing in this book, as I go on, I tweak, I change things so that they'll suit me better. So another thing I started doing in this book is when I find a recipe that I like and that is healthy for me, I jot it down in the back of this book. I measure out how much one serving is for me, and I write down the recipe. 1 cup, say I made a soup. I made a cauliflower dill soup, and it was kidney friendly. So I wrote the recipe down in the back of this book, and for me, about 1 cup of that soup is a serving. So it might be 2 cups for you, it might be a 4th cup for you, whatever, however you eat to your fill, but not like necessarily indulge or anything. But 1 cup was a serving for me. So I wrote in the back of this book, 1 cup of this cauliflower dill recipe equals, I think it was 72 milligrams of sodium. Like I wrote it all down. So now next time I make that cauliflower soup, there's no math to do. I'm already, a half an hour ahead. I just go to the grocery store, buy the ingredients, come home, know exactly how much of each thing is in that 1 cup of cauliflower soup. So, keep some kind of records or logbooks, just so that you know what you've done today, where you need to improve tomorrow. I think on this one, this was an earlier one from me. I don't know if that's clear, if you can see it or not. But this day, I only drank 44 ounces of water. So I circled that. I knew the next day I needed to do better with my water. And that was one of my struggles, was getting that 62 ounces of water in. So that's my one logbook. It's just really basic, but it's one thing that helped me get a grip on this and know how I was doing, where I needed to improve. So try that. If you have suggestions how I can tweak that and make it better, let me know. If you have some kind of system that you use, please comment down below and share it with everybody, with me, because there is nobody else on here. But look, I'm not even playing. Like I'm still really open to suggestions. So if you have any good ideas how I can improve that, please let me know. My next logbook is, and both of these my daughter gave me this book a year or 2 ago, and I had it, just around the house. This book I got free at a bank, and so I just had it around the house. I'm not out there spending money doing anything fancy in regards to logbooks, but this one I just keep, and I keep, the other thing about these logbooks, keep them out. I noticed that because I'm a very tidy person, so I was putting them away. But for me, I would be like, I'll log it later, or I'll write that down later. No, I don't. So I have to leave them out. It looks junky, it's cluttering up my space, but it's gonna improve my health if I just leave them out. So that's what I do. Okay, the second logbook is just for the doctor. And I write the date. I wrote the date down at the top of the page for my first doctor's appointment with the nephrologist. I wrote the date of that doctor's appointment and 2 pages of questions. I had 2 pages of questions for her by the time I got to see her. And I just said to her, hey, I brought a couple pages of questions. Do you mind if I just go down my list? And she was fabulous. She didn't mind that at all. Now, some of the things, she doesn't speak my language. I don't speak hers. She speaks a little bit of English, but some of the things I had to reword or whatever, but that's just my personal problem because I was too lazy to learn the language of the country I'm living in. So, But yeah, she went right down the list with me. And as she was answering, I was jotting down the answers. So write down the answers in your little logbook. And as soon as I got home from that appointment, I turned the page, wrote down when my next doctor's appointment was, which is coming up very soon, wrote down the date of that doctor's appointment, and started just jotting questions. So now when I go back to her, I have a couple more questions that I want to ask her. So keep logbooks or records or something. If you're like a computer person or you're really good at using your phone, maybe keep something in your phone just to keep you on track day to day and to look back, because I can't tell you how many doctors have one-a-day log of what I'm eating. And this was even before I was diagnosed with kidney disease. So yeah, I just take this logbook of what I'm eating and they can look at it and gather information that they want. The next thing that's really, really important to manage chronic kidney disease, in my opinion, I am not your doctor, is sleep. And I do know that it's very hard to sleep. And I don't know why, but I've learned that a lot of people with kidney disease don't fall asleep until like 4 a.m. So I have why? It's so weird. But do what you've got to do, because sleep is everything. Water is life and sleep is everything. So it will improve your overall health, including your kidney health, but it'll improve every aspect of your life. Just try everything. What I found works for me is sleeping with a sound machine, and you can Google it, Amazon, whatever. Some of them are $20, some of them are $100. So you just turn on this sound that's in the background while you go to bed, and you just kind of let your mind focus on that, and it helps me. The other thing that helps me is a weighted blanket. I bought this 20-pound blanket with silicone, I think it's silicone glass with glass beads on the inside. And I sleep underneath it, and it helps me to sleep. The first one I bought was either plastic or silicone. I forget what it was, but it smelled so toxic. I just couldn't use it. I refused to use it. And I'm weird like that. So if you want to get a plastic one, it's probably fine for you, but I'm just super weird. So I had to go out and get a glass one so that I felt comfortable, like I wasn't poisoning myself sleeping under this great big plastic bag thing. So that helps me sleep a little better. And I use essential oils. I diffuse essential oils to help me sleep, which may or may not be safe for you and your sleeping partner. You got to think about your sleeping partner too if you have one. What I like to diffuse is Lang Lang. It's YLANG. Lavender. There's just a ton of different essential oils that can help you sleep. So do your own research on that. Ask your doctor before you use any essential oils. They may or may not be safe for you. They may or may not be safe for your sleeping partner. So ask your sleeping partner if they're safe for them. And yeah, just do what you got to do to get your 8 hours of sleep, because it really is very, very helpful with your mental state, with your physical health, everything. And that brings me to number 5, which is mental health. Do whatever you have to do to enjoy life and to stay sane. When you receive the news about this disease, if you don't get a whole lot of information right up front, like many of us did not, you spend the next couple months trying to figure out what's really going on with your health and your life, and you think of crazy things, and you join Facebook groups, and you might connect with someone, or you might read their story, and that just makes you feel bad some days. So do what you got to do. I like to laugh. I think laughter is the best medicine. So watch a comedy, make jokes, do something to relax and have fun and enjoy life, whatever that is for you. And it might be something you've never done before. So yeah, you see this apron back here? So funny but not funny story. I hate to cook. Before I found out I had kidney disease, I ate tons of fruit and vegetables, hardly any dairy, hardly any meat, no pasta, like, but I didn't like to cook. It's so with this, I'm finding that I have to cook because I can't really buy preserved or processed foods, so I have to cook. And it's been taking me a long time because I'm trying all these different recipes and most of them were not tasting good to me. So I'm in the kitchen just all the time. Don't like being in the kitchen. I want to be outside. I want to be hiking or riding my bike or sitting by the lake watching birds. Like, I'm just so not the chick that's in the kitchen. So I really had to do something. So I bought this little apron. And laugh if you want to, but it puts me in the mood to cook. And it saves my clothes because I was ruining some of my shirts. So, yeah, whatever you got to do. That's my little mental health. Like, okay, I can go to the kitchen. But I still have this raggedy stool problem. I've had that little blue stool for so long, and I usually keep it in the closet. But since I'm in the kitchen so much, I've been keeping it in the kitchen because I can't reach the cupboards. And I'm like, I gotta do something about that stool. I was trying to think of something I would love instead of that stool. And I got this crazy idea. Maybe I'll bring my black high heels out there. How cute am I in that little red apron? And if I slip my black high heels on to reach the spice up high in the cupboard, OMG. And it seems like shallow and worldly, and it probably is, but it's not like I'm in a home full of people. I'm just here by myself cooking, you know? So I'm gonna put my high heels on for my dang self, okay? So do whatever mental health thing you need to do. You know, call a friend, watch a funny movie, walking, like if you're allowed to walk or bike ride. Because for me, my old exercise routine was also like my mental health routine, some of it, part of it. And when I couldn't do that anymore, I'm still struggling with that because I really love to run. And when I'm running, I pray and I worship God, and I just love to run. So I can't do that anymore. So I'm really trying to find mental health things. So if you have mental health tips for me, I'm still praying. I'm still worshiping God and praying, but I can't exercise, which was a big part of my mental health thing. I'm riding my bike a little bit now. But yeah, if you have any like things, mental health things, ideas, tips that you can share, I'd really like to read those, and maybe something will work for me. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope something helped you. If nothing helped you and you think of something that might help me, please put it in the comments below. Please do hit the like button on this video. I would really appreciate that. And I'll see you in my next video.